When we think about superheroes, we often think of larger-than-life figures with extraordinary powers. But Daredevil, also known as Matt Murdock, is a little different. Born in the gritty streets of Hell's Kitchen, his story is deeply human, even though his abilities border on the superhuman. Blind since childhood, Matt Murdock doesn't see the world like the rest of us, but that doesn't mean he's in the dark. So, how exactly does Daredevil see? Today, we're going to break down the science, the myth, and the unique way this iconic Marvel character navigates the world.
How did you just do that? I'm a really good lawyer.
Matt's journey begins with tragedy, an accident that robs him of his sight. But those very same chemicals that blinded him are also what enhance his remaining senses.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
This is where the line between science fiction and reality starts to blur. While we can't say a chemical spill would give anyone super senses, science does tell us that when one sense is lost, the brain adapts, amplifying the others. In Matt's case, his brain rewires itself to pick up on the smallest sounds, vibrations, and smells, things that most of us would overlook. In the real world, people who lose their sight do experience heightened awareness in their other senses, but not to the same superhero extremes. Let's talk about these senses. Daredevil can hear a heartbeat from across the room, sense changes in air pressure, and even detect the faintest whiff of cologne from a block away.
How do you know that?
I taste copper in the air.
Copper in the air.
These abilities make him a master at reading his environment and even people. In fact, his heightened hearing and touch give him something almost like echolocation. Echolocation is something we see in animals like bats and dolphins. They emit sounds and listen to the echoes that bounce back to understand the space around them. While Daredevil doesn't emit sound, his extraordinary hearing allows him to read the space around him by processing every noise, every breath, and every footstep. Marvel introduces the concept of Daredevil's radar sense.
How many fingers am I holding up?
One.
It's not something that exists in the real world, but it's a creative way to explain how Matt can move with such precision. Essentially, it's like a sixth sense that gives him a mental map of his surroundings. The radar sense fills in the gaps where sound and touch can't reach, allowing Daredevil to move through the world as though he could see into the comics and shows.
No!
That good, huh?
Sunk the 8-ball.
This ability is often depicted as a fuzzy but functional image of his surroundings. It's not perfect, but it's enough for him to make sense of the world around him. And interestingly, this mirrors how real-life blind individuals often develop a heightened sense of space even without sight. While Daredevil's heightened senses are often portrayed as a gift, they can also be a curse. Matt is constantly bombarded by information. Imagine hearing every conversation, every car horn, every drop of rain at once. His world is never quiet, and that takes a toll. This aspect of Daredevil's character is one of the most humanizing elements. He's not just fighting criminals, he's also fighting to maintain control of his overwhelming reality. For some people, especially those with sensory processing disorders, everyday sensations can be overwhelming. They might not be able to filter out background noise or ignore a particularly strong smell, which can lead to exhaustion or anxiety. Daredevil, in many ways, is a reflection of that struggle, living with an unfiltered stream of sensory information.
Dragged me into this rinky-dink firm, Murdock. I'll never be able to thank you enough for it.
You're not gonna kiss me.
Daredevil is a unique hero, not because of his powers, but because of how human he remains despite them. His blindness, instead of holding him back, pushes him forward. His senses give him an edge, but his heart is what makes him a true hero.
Your boy, he pushed me out of the way. He saved my life.
Oh, it burns.
Through his radar sense and superhuman hearing, he shows us that there are many ways to see the world. And sometimes, what we feel and hear is just as powerful as what we see.
How did you just do that? I'm a really good lawyer.